DHL pole sitter is Pepe Oriola in the Campos Racing Seat. And the Spaniard looking to try and claim his first win of the season, the first for Cupra as well. Green flag waves, we are ready to go for 3 laps at the Nordschleife. Red lights are on, revs raise, and away we go. And does René Rast move? He does. Does he get away quickly? It looks okay. Does Pepe Oriola shut him off into the first corner? He does. And Esteban Guerrieri is going with him. But look at Rast, lunging to the inside. Oriola goes wide to shut the door on Guerrieri. He's commanding the first corner. Guerrieri goes through up into third on the inside. I think Benjamin Lessen also got inside René Rast. Rob Huff was held up behind him. No, Huff goes through. Huff in third. And Rast in fourth on board with Tarquini, and that's John-Carl Verne. Tarquini goes through on the inside. Norbert Mikulits in front. Somebody kicking up the dust. If they've run out wide, they've gone off wide. Somebody's in the barriers, and it's René Rast. He's been tagged off on the very first corners, and now in the background, rejoining from the gravel trap, Rob Huff or Mehdi Benani. It's Rob Huff.
Yeah, Huff and Rast out.
So Esteban Guerrieri also got by. We have an Argentine leading a Spaniard, and Ted Björk or Ivan Muller. It'll be Ivan Muller up to third. Guerrieri leads. Muller in third. Elachet in fourth. Fairvish in fifth.
Wild through there.
So Rob Huff and René Rast tangled. Rast in the barriers.
Okay, I got hit from Huff and then went to the gravel.
Well, we will have a yellow flag zone there, but they won't be back for another 10 minutes. So there is time to recover. John Philippi has gone off in his Campos Racing Cupra, and he is now right at the... He'll be going to the pit lane. There's something wrong with that car. Seriously wrong. So up through the Vidal chicane for the first time, and then instead of going right, going hard left, out into the Hatzenbach. The first few corners of the Nordschleife, everybody jockeying for position. Rast is out.
Rast has actually gone to the he's on the outside. Whether he could have got out of that, let's see what's happened.
Oh, they've shot off right. This is on the run down the hill before you even get to the hairpin.
Lucky he didn't take more people out.
Yeah, Huff went right, Rast went left. Where did they touch? Watch the pair of cars. Oh,
it's a clash of wheels, I think.
Yeah, and Huffy, oh, who did he tag? On board with Huff, we'll see Rast's car just about. No, we don't, but who did he hit? Benjamin Lessen. Now, after all the complaining Huff did about Lessen, the irony there...
there's Philippi.
Yeah, he
tackled up with Coronel.
Now, did it right rear suspension or right front? Yeah. Now, was that because of the contact, or did that cause the contact?
No, I think that was because of the contact.
Yeah. The car's out on the Nordschleife. René Rast walks away. They'll have plenty of time to sort that out. Huff in the pits, Philippi in the pits.
Well, that was Huff's chance of a really good result there.
Yep.
He's starting in front of the super quick Hyundais, so...
Yeah. Started fourth, and that's what he was looking for, clearly, looking to get into the top 3. I mean, he sort of just about had got by René Rast, but that little touch between them, clash of wheels, they both shot off in opposite directions. And, you know, you can join in, but frankly, all you're doing is risking the car. So you're never going to get any points from here. So I think that's race over for Rob Huff. Esteban Guerrieri leading the field out into the Nordschleife. He still leads. Pepe Oriola in second. Not the car in front of him that he expected. Benjamin Lessen comes down pit lane. And bearing in mind the criticism he received from Rob Huff after qualifying, he might want to go and just have a little word with Huff and say, you know, this is what happens in racing. Not everybody gets away with everything perfectly. Looking back from Mehdi Benani.
Yeah, the man on the move is Ivan Muller. He's
Yep.
been very fast in the first 2 sectors, and he's made good progress.
Well, this is Muller's race to win, isn't it? He could end up winning race 2 as well as race 1, except right behind that white car with the white, red and black is Jan Erlache. That's the battle for 3rd and 4th. Uncle Jan ahead of his nephew, Uncle Ivan ahead of his nephew Jan. So looking back from Esteban Guerrieri, the race leader, there's Pepe Oriola.
Yeah, never mind the family relationship. It's the fact that these two have got to share a car for 800 kilometers down to Monza tonight. So they need to behave themselves.
Well, if Ivan has Jan off, he might not get a lift. But if Jan has Ivanov, at least Jan's still got the car and he can still drive himself.
He's going to have to do the driving duties, isn't it?
Exactly right.
Down into Metzgerfeld, the lowest point of the circuit, 300 metres before they start the long climb up there, up towards the carousel at the top of the hill.
A little further back with Jean-Carl Vernet, and right in front of him, is that Mehdi Banani? Looks, or Gabriele Tarquini possibly. Oh no, he's following Norbert Mikulec, so that's who it was.
Tarquini's done well, hasn't he? He's starting 14th. And
there's Vernet at the top of your shot, and Tarquini just below him. Shedden up to 9th, Ted Björk 10th place, which is where he started. So Gordon Shedden started in 15th, already up to 9th.
Frederick Verfisch up to 5th place. And he was super quick in qualifying yesterday, so he's... and
that was Shedden going into Tarquini. Contact between Gordon Shedden and Gabriele Tarquini, and broken suspension for Tarquini. Now that's a major drama because he won't get the car back to the team. He will not start race 3 either. 0 points in race 1. Contact with Shedden, he's out of race 2 and race 3.
What happened there?
Well, Flash was trying to come by him, got a run, and then there was contact.
Cool.
Debris everywhere. He was off, back on, off, and back. Had he gone off, and then there was, as he came back on, was that contact with Shedden?
Good question.
Right, so Tarquini goes off. There's his wheel.
That would have been...
Need to see that replay again. So did Tarquini go off first, and then was the contact with Shedden as he, out of control, swerved back onto the circuit? Is that what happened?
The Audi is slippy, so it's a long run up that hill.
Well, you know,
top gear. So if he's got a,
but a racer as experienced as Tarquini's not going to shut the door brutally to force contact on the Nordschleife, and a racer as talented as Flash isn't going to shunt somebody off to try and get by them. I think Tarquini, either a breakage or an error, I think he was going off, and then we saw him going off and coming back on. I think that's when the contact was with Shedden. I think if Flash got away with no damage, then he's very lucky indeed.
I don't know. He's Tarquini was he was driving aggressively yesterday. You remember he boxed Bjorg out at the end into the Tiergarten.
Yeah, but don't forget he also overdrove and went off there. Now there is Gordon Shedden, car number 52. And the debris is at turn 38, which is the run from Exmüller up to Bergwerk. So there's your race leader, Esteban Guerrieri, clearing off as they come through the mini carousel. This is late on in the lap.
This is good for Guerrieri, really good news for him, because he's actually going to be able to break the toe, but the others, it'll be like the Tour de France peloton coming up behind him, because they are going to get a big slipstream all off each other, and he's out on his own trying to force his way through that air.
Now, how close is Mikulec going to get to the back of this queue? Because there's Guerrieri on his own, so he's the breakaway. And then, as you say, Oriola with Muller, the white car. Behind him, Erlasch, and here comes Verfisch. Wow. Verfisch really pulling up strongly. Then Ted Björk. Let's hear from Ted Björk. Let's not hear from him.
I need to crash in front of me. I went into the fire a bit. Okay, copy that. Report if you've got any more to tell us.
Nat Berton coming alongside Ted Björk. So Björk saw Tarquini crash in front of him, went into the barrier in avoidance. I think that's what happened. I think with Tarquini, what happened is either he lost it or he had a breakage, and I think he just bounced on and off the barriers 2 or 3 times before finally coming to a halt. He's out of the car. He looked a little bit second-hand, I have to say, but you don't have a small accident on the Nordschleife. So Yvonne Muller did not get by Pepe Oriola, while we were watching further back Ted Björk.
But the Hyundai isn't the most aerodynamic thing, is it? It's got some punch off the corner, so you know, you could see as Björk came out behind. Who was he behind? The Audi. Anyway, he got a great punch out of the corner.
Yeah, but Nat Berton came past Ted Björk on the straight.
Berton, that was it.
Yeah. So, lap 2 of 3 then. Guerrieri still leads by a car length and a half over Pepe Oriola and Ivan Muller. Then Frederick Vervisch and Jan Erlaché. So Vervisch in the Audi jumped Erlaché as we were watching further back. Now, Nat Berton going by Ted Björk. And this is going to be a last gasp effort for Ivan. Out through the early part of the Nordschleife, through Hocheichen, and now on the run up to Kittelbacher Höhe and Flugplatz. The race being led by Esteban Guerrieri, lap 2 of 3. Pepe Oriola in second place, and he was under pressure from the white Hyundai of Ivan Muller, but Muller has got Audi's Frederick Vervisch behind him, and Vervisch is really pushing hard. Ted Björk into the pits just to get the car checked over. They changed the right front. It had a ding in the wheel, and a bit of wheel had gone astray, and that was after a little bit of contact. Into the pits now has come Fabrizio Giovanardi at, well, not walking speed, but cycling speed. Definitely below the pit lane speed limit when he crept in at the end of lap 1 in his Audi. Ted Björk goes back out. And this is just to ensure that the car is healthy for the next race, which is where he will start on pole position. Giovanardi, again, he'll want the car. That looked like it might have had a right front puncture, yeah.
The left rear looks a bit beaten and battered as well.
Yeah. So sweeping around the twists and turns of this 26-kilometre.
The WRT Audis of JK and Flash in 7th and 8th are moving on to the back, moving up to the back of this leading pack now, so they could really come into the mix of the leading scrap in not too long a time.
Yeah, we're riding there with Jean-Carl Vernet. He came across the line in 7th, Gordon Shedden in 8th, and Nat Berton in 9th. And there is the Hyundai, the white Hyundai of Ivan Muller, with Frederick Vervisch closing in behind. There's Guerrieri's view of Pepe Oriola. So Esteban Guerrieri, ooh, Vervisch was having a look at Muller. Fantastic stuff all the way up this monstrously long climb, but Vervisch lost momentum there, had to maybe just breathe off the throttle a fraction. Yellow flags waved for Gabriele Tarquini's car ahead. And there is Tarquini's car under tow.
Well, under tow with 3 wheels on his wagon. So
yes. On board with Norby, his teammate.
That's going to be terrible news for Tarquini. He's going to have 3 DNFs this weekend.
Leaders already down into the carousel. The Caracciola carousel. Well, there is the Hyundai of Norbert Mikulits with Jean-Carl Vernet right behind. Why is it such an easy name? It's got consonants in the wrong place. I can't say Jean-Carl Vernet to save my life. And right behind Vernet, Gordon Shedden.
Yeah, these 2 Leopard Audis play the tactics right. They could gang up on Michelitz when they get to the main straight. They just need to work together on this one.
Yeah. Well, after that brush with Tarquini, Shedden's car still looking like it's got all the right bits pointing in the right direction.
Yeah, there's been a bit of a brown boxer short moment for him.
Yeah, definitely. That's a proper code brown. Guerrieri and Oriola have left Muller. Muller's dropped back. Vervisch under pressure from behind from Jan Erlaché. Don't forget, Vervisch got by Erlaché on the straight last time. Now, Vervisch needs to work for the next 5 miles to get closer to Muller.
Yeah, don't forget that the Hyundai is the heaviest of all these cars at the moment. It's still carrying the maximum 60 kilos ballast. So now with the ambience gone up, that is going to be hurting his tyres.
Yep. On board with Jean-Carl Vernet. Clearly an electric drive.
I was just thinking exactly the same.
There's the audio.
Fully electric up. That's what it's going to be like in 20 years' time, commentating.
I'll be mutton by then, so I won't know. So deaf and blind. Well, René Rast, Rob Huff out of the race. Sol Sabo Gabriele Tarquini also. I didn't see what happened to Charbot. Benjamin Lassen in and out of the pit lane. John Philippi in the pit lane. Giovanardi in the pit lane. But the action on track centering around Ivar Muller in third place. It's Muller, Vervish, Erlaché, Mikulits, Verne and Shedden. So 3rd to 8th in a little gaggle. And there's your leader, Esteban Guerrieri with Pepe Oriola, and Muller dead in the water. Vervish pulls out a long way down the straight, and through he goes. Now behind Erlaché on his own. But what about Norbert Mikulits and Jean-Carl Verne? Let's look further back up the straight. There's Mikulits. Verne and Shedden aren't close enough. This is a monstrously long straight. Well, this is the pass for 3rd place. Fredrik Vervish moving his way up the order.
Vervish has just come alive this weekend, hasn't he?
Yep. He's finally got a car working the way that he can make it dance, and that's everything for a racing driver. End of lap 2. Final lap. Just another 20-odd miles to go. Esteban Guerrieri and Pepe Oriola 1-2, and now the Audis are attacking Norbert Mikulits. Right behind is Jean-Carl Verne, attacking Norbert Mikulits for 6th position down into the first corner, and Mikulits with Erlaché in his sights as well. Norby trying to move up, and JK trying to move up as well, and Muller goes through on Vervish. Fantastic action, Matt.
Seems like Erlaché is just dropping back a bit. He's sort of got Mikulits bottled up behind him, and that's allowing the Audis sort of to line Mikulits up. But it's going to be hard because it's the overtaking opportunities in the first half of the lap are quite few and far between. Does Vervish run wide there? Is that a mistake, or did Muller just use the great punch of that high Hyundai engine?
Well, Muller using all of his knowledge and experience, just creeping back into 3rd, but surely the right... Oh, somebody's gone off behind. There's dust behind. There's Muller in 3rd, Vervish 4th, Erlaché, Mikulits, Verne and Shedden. And still more dust. Now everybody kicking up. Every time you put a wheel off, Matt, or onto curbs, the ground here is very dry, and so there's this little mini sandstorm. On board with Jean-Carl Verne, chasing Norbert Mikulits, who in turn is trying to unseat Jan Erlaché. And if Mikulits could get by the Honda before they got onto the Nordschleife, that sort of protects him against the 2 Audis behind. As it is, I'm sure he fears that what we just saw happen to Ivar Muller is going to happen to him once they get out of the green hell and back onto Dottinger Höhe.
It's how much ground Vervish can make up with Muller on Muller again, and unfortunately Guerrieri and Oriola are gone.
Yeah, they are, aren't they?
They're just too far up the road at the moment, but the scrap's going to be for 3rd place.
Oh, I don't know. Look how much Muller's pulled away from Fredrik Vervish already, leaving him to deal with Jan Erlaché.
It's almost like Muller's been looking after his tyres for a while, and now he's only got 1 lap to go. He's just sort of gone, stuff it, let's drop the hammer.
Also, he's throwing Vervish to the sharks by dropping him back towards the kid. Yeah. I'll let my nephew deal with him. He's too troublesome. I'll let the kid sort him out. Come on, Jan, earn your living. So green flags now all the way around the Nordschleife. Gabriele Tarquini's damaged Hyundai has been retrieved.
Fastest lap of the race so far to Esteban Guerrieri at 9 minutes 4.8 seconds, which is 8.5 seconds slower than the qualifying lap.
Yep.
So it just shows you can say that on any other normal circuit. It's just shows the length and ferocity of this track.
It certainly does, doesn't it? Looking down at Jan Erlaché with the white stripes on the roof. Right ahead of him, Fredrik Vervish in the Audi. Vervish the best of the Audis. Behind him, Verne 7th, Shedden 8th, Berton 9th. So 4 Audis in the top 10. Tom Coronel 10th. That's a good progress from Coronel. Mehdi Banani 11th. And then Denis Dupont and Aurélien Panis 12th and 13th. Not too far away from points. And Dupont is 0.3 of a second, or was at the beginning of the lap, behind Mehdi Benani, who himself is 0.8 behind Coronel. So not beyond the bounds of possible. Hello, there we go. Mehdi Benani looking back at Denis Dupont, his teammate, Dupont's teammate Aurélien Panis, a couple of car lengths further back. And Dupont might almost be in position to slipstream and maybe leapfrog both cars on the final lap. I'm sure he'll give it a try. The young Belgian, supported by the Belgian Automobile Club, he's their young driver, and placed him here in the World Touring Car Cup to increase his experience. Looking back from Nat Berton. Berton is in 9th. There's Tom Coronel in 10th.
It's almost as if Muller might have had a problem on that lap too. He dropped so far back, but he's really eating into Pepe Oriola's gap on him now. You can see he's making real good progress to pull the lead 2 back in. But I just don't think when he gets to the main straight, he hasn't got the top speed in that Hyundai.
He hasn't got a speed advantage. They'll all max out at basically the same speed with that hatchback body shape, and the Audi with the 3-box saloon, the car with the boot, just tidies up the airflow a little bit off the top of the roof, and it makes it just that little bit more slippery, so its top speed should be a fraction higher. Well, there's Norbert Mikelitz again. The Hyundai, nothing wrong at all with the Hyundai on the twisty bits, pulling away from Vernet and Shedden. And Mikelitz trying to close in on Erlaché in front of him. And Erlaché's been sort of shaken off as Vervisch in front is closing back on the tail of Ivan Muller.
As is Mikelitz on the back of Erlaché.
I didn't hear what was being said there, so Guerrieri is gone with Oriola in front of him, but Muller is now right in the clutches of Vervisch. And Mikelitz closing in on Erlaché, and Vernet and Shedden need to get closer to him. Battle for 6th position at the carousel. As they pop out the white car, Ivan Muller in 3rd, then Frederick Vervisch closing on him. He's shaken off Erlaché. Erlaché has dropped Mikelitz, and Mikelitz has got Vernet for company. And the other blue and red car of Gordon Shedden not close enough to be able to take advantage unless he can close in the remaining part of the lap. Now, out of the carousel, they come all the way up to Hoacht, the highest point on the circuit. And then it's through the roller coaster hang-on ride of Wippermann, Eschbach, the flying leaps from Brunchen all the way to Flansgarten. This is properly spectacular, whether you're watching from trackside like the 100,000 and more fans, or Matt, whether you're strapped in as tight as can be in the car. Either way, it's a real edge-of-the-seat roller coaster ride.
Oh, definitely. Still no mistakes from the Argentinian Guerrieri, so he's looking, dare we say it, for a Honda victory round here, but Oriola's shadowing him.
Yep.
Just about.
Well, he's got a great opportunity here, Esteban Guerrieri. He knew it when he was sitting on the grid there that there was a chance to move up the order, and he needed to try and take it, and he did. Got in front of Pepe Oriola right on the very beginning of the first lap, and that's where he stayed.
After previous years and tyre failures around here, Yokohama have brought a special tyre for the first time this one. And they're all, it's new territory, new learning for a lot of the teams and drivers, but I know tyre pressures have been a sensitive subject that they've all been working on. And who's that gone wide?
That's in front of Mikelitz, so that's Erlaché.
Yeah.
So he was trying to close up on Vervisch, and he has closed up on Vervisch, who's also closed up Muller. And Vervisch almost running into the back of Muller.
Whether Muller made a mistake as well then.
Well, it looks like it, or he's just run out of grip. That is out of Schwalbenschwanz. So this is the long run down Dottinger Höhe, and here comes the Audi, and look behind, Mikelitz on Erlaché as well. Vervisch looking for a podium finish, and right behind, Mikelitz comes by Erlaché and is closing on Ivan. Can Mikelitz jump too? Look at him go. Look at the Hungarian closing on in Ivan Muller. He's going to have to be mighty brave to outbrake Muller here. There's not enough room, surely, but can he outdrag him on the run to the line? Well, Vervish has got third, but heading towards the line, it is going to be victory for Esteban Guerrieri, a first podium of the year for Pepe Oriola, and third for Fredrik Vervish, ahead of Muller, Mikulits, Erlaché, Verne in 7th, waiting for Gordon Shedden to come to the line in 8th, ahead of Nat Berton, and then Tom Coronel in 10th. Denis Dupont did not get by Mehdi Benani on the final run down to the line.
Fastest lap of the race, Norby Michelitz on the final tour as well. But first time ever in the top 10 for Fredrik Vervish.
Yep.
And if he'd have he started further up the grid, I think he could have won that. Very possibly.
Yeah. Well, what happens in the next race?
Wow.
He starts further up the grid.
He starts second on the grid, doesn't he?
He does start second on the grid, yeah. Well, Esteban Guerrieri, the first win of the season for him. Victory for All-Inkle Munich Motorsport. Don't forget, he followed his teammate Jan Erlaché to a 1-2 result last time in Hungary, and he's claimed victory here. Well, here's the view from Norby going by Jan Erlaché. And Ivan Muller knew the jig was up, didn't he? As the Audi came steaming by on the straight. What Ivan would have been aware of in his mirrors, the Audi would have been coming alongside. He'd have been looking in his mirrors at what was going on. Where was Erlaché? And then suddenly seeing blue behind him, knowing that that was not the Honda, but it was the Hyundai of Mikulits, and he had to make sure Norby didn't get through.
He was defenseless against Vervish, but then once the Audi had gone past, he was straight under the boot lid.